Harry's Wife, Part 104.85. Obama Alarmed. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. We haven't had a deep dive into the ridiculous nonsense that Netflix Junkie tends to peddle, so I thought, let's go and have a little look-see in there to find out what's going on by Shredded Arse, or Shredded Ass, as is this person's correct name. And we're met immediately by the title, Harry's Wife's Attitude Alarmed Michelle. Royal Biographer's Revenge book explains what Michelle Obama thought of Harry's wife. Known for his rigidly negative stance on the Duchess of Sussex, Tom Bower has launched a wide spectrum of blistering attacks on Harry's wife. Apart from his recent infamous interview, where he took simultaneous jibes at the Duchess, no one can forget his striking novel, Revenge. That sentence doesn't even make sense. The book publicly called out many false allegations against Harry's wife and gave rise to outrage in the United Kingdom. No, it didn't. The book publicly called out her false behaviours and gave rise to much cheering and whooping and a thank goodness somebody knows what's going on here amongst the United Kingdom. Of course, Netflix Junkie with Shredder Ass wants to support Harry's wife and therefore engages in misinformation, which of course is not something that Harry and Harry's wife would approve of. Oh no, as you know, they're self-appointed commissioners and czars for the eradication and crushing of misinformation. You better watch out, Netflix Junkie. They may be after you, although I suspect not, because of course Harry's wife will exhibit her usual hypocrisy, which is this. You are not allowed to criticise me. If you do, you're a racist and a hater, but I'm allowed to go around telling porcupines about other people. But let's continue with what the journalistic triumph of NetflixJunkie.com has to tell us. One of the most controversial statements ever mentioned in the book, ever in the history of ever, was about the link between the Obamas and the Sussexes. The unauthorized biographer has openly stated unconfirmed thoughts and opinions between both legitimate families, as opposed to what? The illegitimate families. Here is what his excerpts read. Narrating an incident between the royal family and the Obamas, Bower has made some striking remarks about Harry's wife. According to him, Harry's wife's attitude alarmed Michelle, the former First Lady of America. Okay, thanks for sharing that with us, Shredded Arse. He has further written about how Harry's wife was never in favour of how the Obamas respected the Queen. Hence, Michelle had openly advised Harry's wife of the ramifications of her actions. Well, how about that? Further, Michelle, there's further, so don't go anywhere just yet. Further, Michelle also asked Harry's wife to take some time and not be in a hurry to do anything. She then went on to draw lines of parallel between her life and the Duchess. Not parallel lines, lines of parallel. It reminds me of that film Lord of War, where he talks about it being a blood of Bath, and Nicolas Cage says it's bloodbath. He says, well, I prefer it my way. I'm a Lord of War, it's Warlord. No, I prefer it my way. Well, here, they're lines of parallel. Henceforth, you must use that phrase, everybody. Don't talk about parallel lines. Forget about Blondie. Talk about lines of parallel. This nonsense continues with Michelle could hence resonate with Harry's wife's impact on people around the globe. However, despite Bower's continuous claims of tension, they weren't continuance, they were repeated. Understand the difference of the words. Mind you, it's not surprising if you're a Harry's wife supporter and you don't understand what words mean. However, despite Bower's continuance claims of tension between the two personalities, we have always witnessed the total opposite in real life. Have we? The two leading women of the West. Okay, right. Michelle Obama is a former First Lady. So I don't think even she would suggest that she's a leading woman of the West. And as to suggest that that's Harry's wife, you're having a babble, as the Cockneys would say. Bubble bath, laugh. Goodness me. The arse-tonging of this publication is unsurprising. But also, of course, what it does is it allows anybody that has cognitive function above dimwit to realise the level of support that Harry's wife has is really amongst the intellectually afflicted. The two leading women of the West have always stood firm in their decisions on voicing sensitive matters, whatever that means. The two seem to get along with a shared sense of mutual respect. Yes, so much so that Harry's wife wasn't invited to Barack's birthday because they get on so well, and she gets on so well with Michelle Obama that she wasn't invited. Remember, she was not invited. This was evident by the way Obama vouched for the Duchess after her bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey. In a full-length interview, she expressed how heartbreaking it was to see Harry's wife facing all of it, although what it is unspecified. Not only did she support Harry's wife, but also called out the unnamed royal family and prayed for forgiveness for them. I think if you've called them the royal family, you're naming them. I think you meant to write, called out the unnamed member of the royal family. As always, these articles do more harm than good. It enables those of us that have decent cognitive function to get a good laugh out of the nonsense that's peddled. But it's also quite indicative, because it shows the level of individual that Harry's wife attracts. Now, I suspect part of the issue here is that the writer has English as a second language. Nevertheless, if you are going to write material that's going to be for public consumption, put it in your first language, where you're going to be more articulate. Don't be an idiot and make yourself seem dimmer than you might actually be. But the point is that these individuals don't research what's actually gone on. They don't look into it in a forensic fashion. They don't look at the evidence. And you will find, and I know those of many of you who have contacted me as such, find repeatedly that the supporters of Harry's wife are as dim as she is. And they are often as bigoted and prejudiced as she is. However, the article asks, what do you think about their friendship? And clearly, things are on the up for NetflixJunkie.com because there's not a 0 comment count. No. In fact, there's 2. Oh yes, 2 comments. Stacey writes, people of colour seem to have issues with the United Kingdom. Obama sent back the statue of Winston Churchill, remember? BJ, seriously, if the Obamas liked them so well, why were they not invited to Barack Obama's 60th birthday? Also, you don't see them getting together and having dinners or other similar get-togethers or meetings. BJ pointing out the very obvious there and, in a couple of sentences, crushing the nonsense that Shredder Ass has written. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.